are who you are. Not because what somebody else does. It's about who you are. The more of who you are you become, the greater who you are you become. Because remember, we all have the same energy inside. And when we connect with that energy is the vibration of love itself. And it's a vibration that's always giving, always helping, always healing. That's what we all about. Nobody is special.
Welcome to another episode of Spark the Brain. I'm here with my co-host,
Kofi, co-host.
Co- Today we have a very unique conversation. From a herbalist perspective, from a health perspective, from a life perspective. We have Mr. Asami Bauman Jr., one of Dr. Sebi's sons. The eldest at that. So this is definitely going to be a deep conversation because your relationship had to be very deep at that time since you're the oldest one. So today we're getting into a dope conversation. Let's get into it. What you got, Tiggy?
Well, I actually want to ask your fondest memory with your father.
My fondest memory with my father.
That and something he said to you that you still think about to this day, like some advice.
All right, my fondest memory would probably be when he took my ass to Honduras and said, "Hey man, this is all ours.
Wow.
This is all because he had just got it. He was like, this is all ours, man. I don't want you to ever sell this." So that's one of my fondest memories because that's one that's sticking in my head. And the thing that he told me when I was young, he said, I remember he was working on his car. And he was like, "Come on, you gonna help me?" I said, "I can't do that." He said, "Look, for the rest of your life, don't you ever say what you can't do. There's nothing that you can't do." He said, "You just gotta find a way to do it. So you can do whatever you want to do." And that stuck with me to this day. So I do whatever. I do it all.
Well, what got you into your own personal health journey? Because I know, I'm sure you've seen him along his journey and what he was doing.
No, we started at the same time. I was, like I said, 18, and he pulled me to the side. He said, "Hey man, let's be vegetarians." I looked at him. I was like, "What?" He said, "Yeah man, let's become vegetarians." And we talked about it, and I was like, "I'm down." Because when you're young, you be like, "Okay, challenge. Yeah, I'm down." I went home. I never forget that. I went home. My grandmama, we from New Orleans now, so she had ham, ox, all that. I went through all of it in the trash. All of it. My grandmama lost her. She was like, "Boy, have you lost your mind throwing out?" She went and got it out of the trash. I wouldn't get it out there. I was like, "Y'all gonna get it because it's trash." And when you're young, you have that kind of seriousness and with lack of respect for everything else. It's like, man, y'all don't know this is killing you. I'm not gonna let you kill yourself. But that's not our place. But you learn, that was my experience. I wanted everybody to know, hey, we can be healthier. Because even at that age, I knew we was eating garbage.
So you say y'all started at the same time. So before that, he wasn't on that type of health journey. It was like literally when you was 18. He had met an individual. His name was Dr.Sebi. He was a Spanish guy who had an herb shop in Whittier called Herbs of Mexico. Okay. And he helped Pops get rid of his diabetes, asthma. Pops had, I remember when I was growing up, he couldn't have no dust in the house because he'd be wheezing. He had to spray the whole nine. He was messed up. That's why he was so, you can say adamant about his delivery when it came to healing because he know what he was going through prior to him getting that knowledge.
Wow. And right now you're still vegetarian?
Well, yes, I eat fish, every now and then. But what I am is conscious of what I put in my mouth. Because, I meet a lot of vegetarians who's way overweight. They be like, "I'm a vegetarian." I be looking at them like, "Yeah, what you doing?"
That starts.
Wait, are you ODing on it or what you doing? Because it's not just about, it's a lifestyle. You learn that you don't have to eat all the time. Yeah. Food is fuel. So we like fueling up and doing nothing. And we have to realize that, hey, this is the body that I have to maintain for however long I'm going to be using this body, so I better make sure that I take good care of it.
Yeah, 100%.
So, I don't like, like veganism. They make eating food out of a religion.
Yeah. And they put these names on
it. And then condemn you when you don't do it the way they want. And it's like, you don't know how many times I'll be sitting and talking with people and they may see broccoli on my plate. Sebi said, I was like, look, I'm going to tell you something. Sebi's not sitting right here. You don't have to eat what I'm eating. Mm-hmm. And what I always tell people is this: when you're sick, then you take drastic action to heal your body. Mm-hmm. And then from that point, then you become more conscious of what you're putting in your mouth. But you don't go on no whole, I can't do this. Oh, no, you cook something in there that's, people make it into something that it's not. Mm-hmm. Because it's just a small part of our existence. We have to respect the totality of our existence, which food is just a small part, but it's an important part, but a small part, because it's how we address things in our life, how we interact with our environment. All that is part of our existence, and that's what we have to be mindful of.
And right now, I'm 29. I know you say you're older than me.
But, we can't tell at all.
But how do you work on yourself from for me, I'm asking for advice. How do I work on myself from now to be as good looking as you at your age and healthy?
Well, I'm gonna say this: it's not just what you eat; it's what you think too. Mm-hmm. Because how we think about ourselves affect us directly. There's a scripture that says, "As a man thinketh, so is he." So how we think about ourselves, and you hear it, just all you have to do is start paying attention to your surroundings and what you hear coming out of people's mouths. You hear people go, "Oh man, yeah, I'm 40 something, I'm getting old." Well, you what? I never say that. You know why? Because I don't think you're old until you at least 200 and something. Mm-hmm. At least way over 100. Mm-hmm. That's getting old.
Yeah.
But in your 40s, you still growing. You don't know shit yet. Mm-hmm. We really don't. In the scope of what there is to know. I'm 66 and I'm still discovering a whole lot of things new about myself. Mm-hmm. So it's not a thing where you go, I have arrived. No, you have arrived when you can vanish into thin air. Then you have arrived.
Mm-hmm. On a conversation of herbs, if you were on an island, right, and you only have 5 herbs that you can use, what would it be?
It would be San Pedro cactus would be one of them. A mango tree would be another one. Coconut would be another one. Ome Grande will be another one.
This is on the whole. I have so much energy right now. You don't even understand.
And Bud would be another one.
Okay. Oh, this is a good conversation. The weed conversation, because so many people have different theories and understandings of weed. What are your thoughts on it from a beneficial,
from a grower's perspective? Because I grow.
Okay. Perfect.
And I grow because I know people use a lot of chemicals and they put a lot of stuff on the bud now. Mm-hmm. But bud has been around for a long time and it has so many beneficial uses to us. Mm-hmm. And what happens is that we get so caught up with doing things recreationally and not really extracting the benefits of what it really has to offer when we partake in it. And we have more respect for the things that we engage, like plants, period. Marijuana is just another plant like the rest of the plant world. Now, we have no regards for whatsoever. We cut a tree down because it's in our way. Mm-hmm. When that is another aspect of life that's a part of us. Mm-hmm. So when you start respecting the plant world, just like you respect what you consider your world, then they become a part of your world that heals you, feeds you. They do everything for you because they're here to do that. So when we really start recognizing and respecting them, we get the same love back from them. So yeah, when it comes to Bud or all the rest of them, they all mean something to me. Why? Because I engage with plants. My wife's a master grower. She loves growing. So do I. So, you know, we turning our little environment into paradise. So when you walk around my yard, you can just go, oh. Just pick mushrooms. Oh, I'm gonna sit here and just trip for a minute.
I like it. We over there.
Just to enjoy life, because you create an environment that's gonna be conducive to the life that you live.
And how is it too with you know, having your own land or traveling to different countries? Like what has it done for you? Like,
hey, I'm gonna say traveling has been really the crux of opening me up to the knowledge that I have now through just seeing other people, being other places, experiencing other foods, experiencing, fruits that I don't even know the name of, just being places where it was given to me and I'm like, what is this? And they tell me the name. I don't know what it is now, but that comes through what? Journeying out. Why? Because this whole world is for us to experience. And we relegate ourselves to a borough or to a city. I'm West Coast. I'm East Coast. I'm Bed-Stuy. I'm Brooklyn. I'm Watts. It's just crazy that we identify with things outside of identifying with the thing that's really we should be identifying with, and that's with ourselves and our connection to the whole. That's why, I don't have no allegiance to none of this, because we didn't come from this. We came from out there. So we all of this, and we just here to enjoy it.
Well, what is the best piece of advice that your father had given you throughout, your journey with him?
I remember he told me, because I told you I was notorious for going around trying to tell people what they need to do. He said, hey, he used to call me A because he heard my homeboys. I used to take my homeboys over to his house. I was a Crip back in LA, so I would bring my homeboys over to his house, and we'd be in his backyard planting the herbs, okay? Because he had weed to smoke, so it'd be like, I'll go. He got good weed. Yeah. And so he said he told me he said, hey man, he said, you talk a lot of shit. He said, I'm gonna say this to you. He said, if you wake a man up that's in deep sleep, and he get up and kill you, it's not his fault. He said, it's your fault. He said, because you just woke that man up. Maybe he wasn't ready to be waking up and took offense to that. He said, so be aware of what you're saying and don't just go around trying to wake everybody up, because everybody ain't ready to wake up. And that's a lesson that's difficult for us to learn when you acquiring all this knowledge and you want to help your family, especially. You're like, man, y'all got to know this. And they be looking at you like, you don't get your ass out of here with that.
I know that for sure. Because when I started using Seymour's, I'm just like, and then some people they wasn't receptive.
Right.
It turned into arguments. I'm like,
right.
That's not where I was coming from.
Exactly.
I was just trying to provide
they be ready to beat you up.
Yeah. Or cut you off completely.
Exactly.
You talking about that health stuff. I don't want to talk to you no more.
Right.
So I completely understand.
So we got to be mindful, man. And we have to deal with them where they at. And then, but on top of that, be an example and not always, because what happens with us a lot of times is we on our journey. And we expressing how we feel, and how we feel is not a part of the community of the people that you're around. We have to be aware enough to go, hey, you know what? You guys are right. I've been tripping. I'm getting the hell away from here. And just that's what it means by cutting, releasing all the fetters. Because sometimes people be fetters to our life, and they hinder our growth. Why? Because they think they know you. So when you go to change, it's like, you been reading some old dumbass book coming, and then they wanna, they're not encouraging you. They wanna belittle you to make you feel apart from them. Why? Because they don't have the energy within themselves to make that change. So it's not really that they condemning you, they condemning themselves. They just lash out to you. And that's what we got to be mindful of, because I deal with a lot of sick people, man.
Yeah.
And sick people are sick people. Yeah. They're angry. Their body is sick, so they're angry. So, you know, I have to check myself sometimes and be like, hey, all right, I got you. I'm out. And I just gone to exit stage left. Why? Because I know they're not ready to hear what I got to say because they're angry and they sick. Come on now.
Yeah, no, that's
it's
tough.
hard to hear when you like that.
Yeah, no, 100%.
And do you feel like sick is like a mental thing? I remember I watched some movie and they were saying that he's not really sick. He just thinks he's sick.
And that's exactly what it is. Remember what I said at the beginning? As a man thinketh, so is he. Why do you think placebos work on people?
I was going to get into that, yeah.
You know, they have a group of people who they giving this medication to, and then they have a group of people who they giving sugar pills to. And a lot of times the people who they giving sugar pills have better results than the people who they giving the medication. Why? Because the medication is hindering them from healing, where the sugar pills ain't doing nothing, and they intent on healing themselves is what heals them.
That's how I try my best to be on some positive energy.
Yeah.
You know, even in like dark moments where you feel like, I try to see, and people always say like, you only see the light, but it's like the only way for me. If I go dark, I'm gonna be dark.
That's right. It is the only way, and it's the challenge too. Because it's a lot of opportunities for you to be dark.
Yeah, 100%.
Why? Because we know that side. But the opportunities for us to always act out of light is the side we don't know, and the side that we always find ourselves being kind of hesitant to operate in. Why? Because we don't know how to operate in it. That's why it's called the unknown. We have to be always open to how the spirit is going to direct us, because why? It's the navigator. Not our mind, not what we think. It's what we know inside is what helps us to navigate through this.
So you said that you work with sick people. Tell us about that. That's in Honduras at the resort.
Yeah, that's one of the things that, you know, that resort was. When we first went to that resort, when I went to Honduras, we didn't have a resort. It was, he had bought the property, but it wasn't nothing on it. So when he went, they said, "Hey, I'm building a village here. It's gonna be a healing village. We're gonna call it Usha Healing Village, because Usha means healing." So his whole thing was to have a place where black folks can come and be healed of whatever ailed them. That was the purpose of it. So the energy, that's why I tell people who come there all the time, I say, you know, you come here and you come here to do what? To be healed. You didn't come here to go and be, you know, because people get...
They hear resort, they think...
Yeah, they be wanting to get entertained all the time. You know, the thing that have poisoned us is our need for entertainment, and that need for entertainment comes from that lack of connection inside yourself. So we feel we got to find something to fill that void, where that void can be filled with your own energy that's begging you to let it in. It's begging. But, you know, that's what that cross represents. We crucify ourselves on the cross of time and space when it's available to all of us. Everybody have the same opportunity to do whatever we want, to expand our consciousness, to become. Because what you come to do on this planet, and what you come to do on this planet, and what I come to do on this planet, nobody else can do. I don't give a damn who they are, how great they think they are. Nobody can do what you come to do. Nobody can do what you come to do, and nobody can do what I come to do. That's why we should be at ease in our skin with one another and not worry about, oh, he's doing what he needs to do. Respect that. Encourage him. We always, you know, we have these terminologies like, oh, you a hater. What happens is that we have been taught in a way that wasn't conducive to our being. We've been taught in a westernized society, a Western way of thinking, not a way of moving from our inner knowing. And that's what we have to get back to. Trusting what we really know inside and acting on it and not being afraid to do that.
it's kind of like that gut feeling that you have.
Exactly.
It's always telling you, but
it's
usually you go against it. Like, oh no, I felt that.
And you hear people do it a lot. They say it a lot, bro. They go, oh man, something told me not to do that, and this happened. You be like, well, something told you not to do it. Why the hell you didn't listen? But see, as we begin to get closer into understanding ourselves, we go, all right, I can trust that now. Because, again, it's dealing with the unknown. That's the unknown part of yourself that's always reaching out to you that you never allowing entrance.
Wow, deep.
And I'm actually going to ask a question from somebody.
Oh, you got somebody? Oh, yeah.
How can we heal our body, and where can we find authentic natural products in the U.S.?
Well, I sell authentic natural products in the U.S. and my website is Alchemist. Asami.com. Because in healing your body, it's about putting the things in your body that can help eliminate the garbage, first of all. And that's why we make cleansers. We got what I call Total Cleanse. That goes into the body and it cleans the body of all that. I mean, we pick up radiation, we pick up heavy metals, we pick up so much garbage. That sea moss and bladder wax, it helps to eliminate growth in our bodies. The OG bitter, Giffity,
we love that too. We had shots of that. Oh man,
it helps to restore. It cleanses men's prostate glands out, so you'll never have prostate cancer.
Okay.
I never went for a prostate gland exam because I never had no prostate trouble. Why? Because I've been using these and chewing on this stick. Because it directly affects that. So here again, knowledge helps us to maintain a better lifestyle for ourselves. The lack of knowledge is what keeps us sick, deranged, and crazy.
I hope that answered that for that person.
How do people find the right knowledge? Because I know social media or you Google something, it might be something, but that might not be right.
No, I'm going to say this. I want you to listen to me. I know a lot of plants. And I go on Google and I Google certain plants and it'll show me something that's not even a plant. I'm like, and I would tell my wife that all the time. I said, babe, look at this. I said, that is not that plant. But we got to remember something. The knowledge is out there for us to get. We just got to work for it. The universe don't give nothing for free. And I keep telling folks that. It's not like, we live in this pill popping society where you go to the doctor and he give you this prescription and you go and get this pill and you're looking for instant relief, because we live in that kind of society where life don't work like that. You messed yourself up. The time it took for you to mess yourself up and get you in that state, just remember it's going to take time to get yourself out of that state. We're always looking for this instant fix. Like we know now that, you have everybody, these women running around shooting themselves up to lose weight. They don't know what the end results of that's going to be. All they know is the instant gratification they're receiving now because of the weight loss. But like everything has a price in this universe. And I always tell folks, find out what the price is before you go and indulging and the benefits, because everything has a price.
That was good. So we was having an interesting conversation before we got here, and the conversation was about like alcohol. What are like your views on alcohol, and what would you tell to someone that is in constant abuse of using alcohol?
Someone who's in constant abuse of using alcohol, just like someone who's in constant abuse of using opioids or using marijuana or using anything. When you find yourself abusing something, then you got to ask yourself, what is it that's driving me to keep this behavior that I know is destructive to my well-being? And then, on the other side of that coin is when you tell yourself that something is not destroying you and you're doing it on a constant, you'd be surprised what the body can do to stop the destruction of that thing. So it's a twofold thing. We got to be aware that, hey, we have the power to change everything inside. Like that's why I love doing this, because of what the podcast is, spark the brain. So it's like you have to spark yourself into. That's what mushrooms, ayahuasca, things like that help us. What they do in reality is they go inside of us and they project out all of the garbage that we have accumulated inside and make us look at it. That's why a lot of folks go, man, I had a bad trip. No, you didn't have a bad trip. What you had was an experience with the ugly shit that you have put inside of yourself, and now it's in your face and you don't like it.
I never seen it like that. Wow, because I haven't tried mushrooms. A lot of people told me like, yo, you should try.
Man, mushrooms is the best things. Look, we love mushrooms, man.
Okay.
Why? It's because of what they do. They do exactly that. That's why they've been using them in a lot of these rehabs to get people off of heroin, to get people off of all these hard drugs. Why? Because mushrooms have a way of taking and making you see a part of yourself, making you see yourself that you haven't been wanting to look at. And so then when a person really sees what it is, then they're able to change what it is themselves. And that's the beauty of mushrooms, man. They powerful, man. They powerful tools for our consciousness, just like ayahuasca, just like San Pedro, just like peyote, Tolawashi. I can just keep naming them. There's a lot of them.
I'm sure you tried ayahuasca.
I've tried them all.
How was that experience?
It was a heck of that was one of the things that I say helped me. I did it while I was living in Hawaii, and what my experience with ayahuasca did was help me to connect on a deeper level with those plants. I feel easy talking to plants now because of the connection that the ayahuasca gave me with them. So I stand there and talk to a plant, and folks be walking by looking at me like, what is wrong with him? I don't care what they think. This plant right here gonna do a whole lot more for me than what they could ever do. All right, so that plant is more important at that moment.
Okay. My next question is, we don't have a lot of resources to know what gets put in the things that we consume. With that said, what can we do to produce more of what we eat? Can you put us on to some black-owned farms?
Babe, what is that? My wife know a black farmer in Georgia, and he even started a school now.
Wow, let me take a note of that.
It's called Your Faith Farms.
Your Faith Farm. Okay.
Brother Patrick.
And Brother Patrick, yeah, and shout out to that brother. He been, I guess, trying to communicate with me, but hey, the brother is on he's doing his thing, man. And I'm gonna say this too about that, is that you can start growing right there in your kitchen. People think that they need this big farm to grow food. All you have to do is start planting seeds in pots.
Wow.
That's all it takes.
We overthink things, and we never do it.
And never do it.
Overthink something, you just don't do it.
Don't do it because you done made it difficult for your own self through your own thinking. The less thinking we do, the better off we are.
Since we're on Spark the Brain, what is an herb that's great for the brain?
Gouda cola is one. I make a compound. It's called Chuck Moon. I made it for the brain. And I made it because a young lady that one of my buddy's wives, she was having headaches and she was losing her sight. And I knew it was directly associated with her nervous system and her brain. So then I made those Chuck Moon, man. I love them. I love them. They brain food.
Okay. We on that.
But when it
So
comes
I put all the best brain foods in there. So
I want to ask, when it comes to like making herbs, like let's say if somebody's like, I don't want to go to the doctor, I want to work on myself. How can they? Is it just like research, or is it actually like things?
Yeah, you can go. You can research, man. I mean, the information is out there. I mean, remember, we are living in the age of technology. So even though they have a lot of misinformation, there's a lot of real information. And with the real information, you can always cross-check it. Because you can always go back and go, all right, it's here, it's here. And with the bullshit, you go, it's here. And then you go to cross-check, there ain't no reference for it. Because it's bullshit.
With you having such a huge family, how is like the because a lot of times we have big families, but there's miscommunication. This person like this. How is the communication what brings on the legacy of your father?
Well, it's really no different for real, bro. I mean, you know, I love my family. I do. We all have knowledge about, you know, healing because we've been around him. But like all families have their separate things that they're about. So, you know, I always say this. All the family members are always welcome to come to the resort. That's all part of ours. It's our stuff.
Yeah,
so, you know, I invite them all the time to come. We always can sit down and have a talk. But my nephew right now, Isaiah, he have dietary resolutions. And my sister, who helped run here, well, she really runs the resort. I'm there to help her. Sama and my sister in Atlanta, Kelly, who was on the Breakfast Club.
Okay, that's okay.
They about it, and you know, Usha and Asami, they about it too. They just I haven't been communicating with them like I've been communicating with others.
Okay.
But you know, like our family, you know, like I say,
it's
people
like
have their own agendas, man. And you know, you get to the point where you be like, well, the invitation is there.
Yeah. It's always
I'm not pushing you out. You're always welcome.
Yeah.
And that goes for my kids, all of them, you know, because I got 2 daughters and a son. It's like, hey, I'm here.
And how do you make your own lane in your family? Like, I know the Wayne's family, every person is like different in the same field. So a lot of y'all are in health. How do you like, this is me though, that's done with something else?
You know, because I've been making products on my own since Sebi was here. You know, when I first started making my products, the rest of them were like, what are you doing? Do he know you making them products? I said, these are my products I'm making. I don't care what he thinks. Why? Because at a certain point, you have to start utilizing the knowledge that you have. So yes, I started making my own products, and I was making them for me. I wasn't making them for everybody else. Because what happened, I moved to Texas, and I was getting ready to get a job in the laboratory, but I had to go take a piss test, and I had been smoking. So I was like, and I never get this. I was like, man, I had smoked like 4 days before I had to go take the test. So I made these energy blood cleansers that I have on my site now. That's why they on there. I made them up, and I started taking them. I was taking like 4 of them and drinking water, And when I went to go take that test, there was no THC to be found in my blood. Wow, because them blood cleansers worked. And they were shocked. They were like, you got somebody else's pee. I was like, no, I didn't get nobody else's pee. So it's real, man. I mean, that's all I like to tell people is that I don't talk from something that I was told or I read. I speak from what I've experienced, what I know.
If someone was to come to you and say, you know, I want to change my lifestyle, and I feel like I kind of know what you're gonna say based on that conversation. How would you tell them to like start, because maybe they drink too much, or maybe they just eat a lot of fast and processed food? Like, where do they start specifically on going into that health journey?
I would say, if you have no idea about what you're getting ready to get into, and you just been eating the same bullshit that you always been eating, I would say just stop, and then just start looking at. Just get the food that you eat and just set it there and look at it and go, all right, this is what I eat. And then look on the other side and see what beneficial food you can find that can replace some of the stuff that you have here that you can eat. Because the good thing about now is that they have a lot of conscious companies that's making food that's beneficial. Where that was not available, you had to be able to, that's why I can cook. I had to learn how to make my own meat.
Yeah.
I had to learn how to take mushrooms and make them taste like meat. And I had to learn all that for myself.
Yeah.
But now a lot of it is just prepared for folks, and all you have to do is just go get it and stop with that, Because I was just sitting out in the backyard just now before y'all came, and I'm looking at the sky. I'm going, out of all the so-called presidents that we've had, I keep seeing these chemtrails. So, I mean, if all these folks are supposed to be for our good, why, out of all these presidents that have come and gone, we keep seeing these damn chemtrails in the sky? When we know that they're not beneficial to us. We know that they're manipulating the stratosphere. And we know that shit falls back down to this earth. And yet, we sitting here arguing about who we gonna vote for.
It's crazy.
We tripping.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's right in our face, and what are we doing? Ignoring it? Because I don't see that in Honduras. I'm sitting there going, man, I'm so glad.
It's only here in this Western culture,
It's just, and it's horrible, man, because I'm watching it, how it just one strip and it just diffuses out. And I'm sitting there going, look at this shit. And it's right over my head.
Yeah. And no one's questioning it.
Nobody. Like I say, we've had presidents come and go, and I keep seeing chemtrails, and none of them do nothing to change that. So that means that the system all works together. I don't give a damn whose face is in office. It's the same shit. And we the ones got to make the change, man. It's up to us. Especially us for ourselves. And that's why Pops created that village, man. He wanted us to have a place that we can go to. Well, we don't have to trust that somebody's just manipulating us for our money, but somebody's really trying to help you move towards that place of wholeness where you can become totally healed and sustained on your own and not need anything. Doctors try to corral you in for the rest of your life. Who want to live a life popping pills? I don't.
What's a lie? Like a lot of black people, a lot of us believe that you could say it's false, or you could that's something that you shouldn't even look at anymore.
It's not just us. It's all over, bro. I was in Nigeria. That's where these clothes got made.
Nice.
Hey, they have their own way of doing things, but it boils down to the same thing. They suffer from the same sickness. They suffer from the same ails that we do. Why? Because we doing the same thing. I lived in Hawaii. I watched them Hawaiians. They eat wild pigs and they do all that, and yet they right there with high blood pressure, diabetes, the same thing. Honduras, same thing. So now you got to ask yourself, why is all these people all over different places in the world, different cultures, all suffer from the same ills? Because they're all being manipulated the same way. You know, as us as humankind have to evolve ourselves, but it starts with the individual. So, you know, we can sit and go, well, man, folks ain't doing. No, and fuck the hell what the folks are doing, because when you make the change, that's a change that don't have to happen. So then you change, and then other folks around you see what you do, and they change, and it just creates that vibe of moving higher in our consciousness, because that's where we got to go. Regardless of how much I sit here and talk about healing and the herbs and all that, it's about our consciousness being elevated. Why? Because our ancestors knew something that a lot of people don't know. Everything is about frequency, matter. This table, it don't need nothing that's here, right? It represents matter. What separates this table from plant life is that plants have the need to eat and digest food. So that separates the first vibration from the second vibration. The first vibration is just matter, it's here. Second vibration, plant life, the need to eat and digest. Third vibration, animal life. What separates animal life from the plant life? The need to procreate. Feelings and emotions rule the realm of the third vibration. That's why folks always talk about where I feel. I feel because the fourth vibration, which is man, is not a vibration at all. It's a pendulum that swings from the third to the fifth. The fifth vibration is the vibration of creativity. That's why I'm always telling folks, learn to be creative. Why? Because then what you're doing is you're making your vibration increase. Why? Because then you're going into the nothing space inside yourself and manifesting something from nothing into this material world. That's what creativity does.
Is that why they kind of make creators feel like they have ADHD or certain?
Yeah, they could. They always trying to make folks feel whatever way they're trying to make them feel. But that's what I'm telling you. Listen to what I'm saying. That pendulum is not a vibration. It's a pendulum that can go either to the 3 or to the 5. when it's stuck in the 3, what do we get? We get rape, we get violence, we get all that animal activity. Why? Because animals are territorial. And then what makes us worse is that we have conscious decisions we have to make, where animals are controlled by their nature. We let ours get totally out of hand, so then, you see what's going on. This is an example of our nature being out of control, which you see around you all the time. When we have to talk on it, we just know it's there.
That's why it's so important to create. That way you're always building new things and bringing it from inside out.
Exactly. You're not just operating on autopilot.
How do you tap out of that autopilot once you get in it?
Well, it's about vibration. Making yourself move into your creative part of yourself where you're creating. Like a lot of the jewelry, I make my own. So I create, I carve, I plan. I'm always doing something to express the ideas that come into this space out into this space.
Wow. Okay.
Just like what y'all doing. This is a part of y'all creativity. You thought about this, you were like, yeah, man, we're going to go down there, we want to interview this brother. And that was just a thought in your head. But here you are. So then, now you manifested what you started with just as an idea. And that's how we have to start operating on it daily. Because then we start elevating ourselves. Because like I said, it's vibration.
Do you think that's why people get caught up in the entertainment? Because
that's exactly why they get caught up. It's a trap. And that's a serious one. And a lot of folks don't come out of it. You see what happened when they do. Look at Jim Carrey. They ridiculed the hell out of him.
They did. Definitely.
He's making all this money. He's tripping. He's not tripping. He said, that person that you think is that's not who I am. I'm none of that. And I'm everything. They did not understand what he was saying. Why? Because he's speaking on a level that they know exists, but that's not the level they want folks to be at. They want folks to be at a level where they can control the narrative. So as long as you want to be controlled, hey, stay in that environment. But when you decide you're tired of the control mechanisms influencing you, then you move out of the environment where the control mechanisms are in place.
That's a big part of like social media. People get caught in that control.
Oh, they are so caught.
Oh man, I deactivated my account because I wanted to feel that feeling of not being in control. Because I've been on Instagram since it came out.
Because think about how people are. They go, oh man, you post something, you get 500 and something views right away. You be like, oh yeah, that's shit. Yeah. And you post something, you get 2 views. You be like, I only got 2 views. And you allow that thing to affect you on an emotional level. That's some deadly shit. Because now you're saying you're allowing something external outside of you to dictate how you feel about yourself and everything else.
And that's just one part of that, right?
That's just one part of it.
What you got, Kobe?
Somebody asked, should certain blood types eat certain foods?
That's a good question because, sometimes that do have relevance in what people can consume is because of their blood type. But I'm going to say this in general, that we can do whatever we want when we understand who we are. We change our whole DNA just through our consciousness. They don't tell us stuff like that, but it's facts.
As a man, think of that a full circle woman. I see.
Exactly.
Okay. What you got? You got more?
Yeah, I got more. All right. Everyone has their vices, and we hear about moderation. But what's your take on eating and thinking healthy while retaining a vice? I think you answered that already.
I mean, then you got to ask yourself, why do you consider what you're doing to be a vice? And then if you consider it to be a vice, why do you continue to do it?
So it's like more of an attachment thing.
Right. It's like, we do not like taking and looking at ourselves like we look at other people. We get together and he was sitting here and he was just saying crazy shit. And I was sitting here going, man, that brother tripping. I don't know what the hell wrong with him. But then when we do it, we don't look at ourselves like that. We be like, oh, they was tripping. That's why I acted like that. So we put it outside and say, I acted like this because they acted like that. Well, that's bullshit. We act like we act because that's what's inside of us. And until we accept that, we're going to always lie to ourselves and never be able to walk in our power.
And do you feel like food can make us act the way?
Oh, food make us act certain ways. Yes, people who, just consume a lot of garbage, think about it. Your brain is part of your system. Our brain is not separate from our heart, our kidneys, our lungs. They all consuming the same thing. So then you eating garbage all the time. What's your brain getting? It's getting garbage. So what is it going to produce? Garbage. That's why you see a lot of these women out here, all they can do is just, and that's the extent of their commitment, their giving to whatever situation it is. So you meet a woman and all she can do is shake her butt. And go work for somebody's desk on their desk as their secretary. But her claim to fame is shaking her butt. What happened to us? We had queens that was warriors out there that was running shit. And these women are so quick to call themselves goddesses and queens, but then they act like project, real quick. It's like, well, what happened? Where did that shift come in? Because you saying you this, but then when you say something, then the universe holds you responsible to be it. And then if you're not being it, then you're gonna receive the penalties that go along with not being it. Because you declared yourself to be it.
And how do you stay on course? Let's say if you I want to help people find homes, for example, but nobody's like, I don't want the help to get there. So it's like in this field, a lot of people refuse help in the medical world and the health world. How do you still do your purpose in that?
It's your intent that drives you. So, what your intent is the ability that you innately have inside of you to move forward when everything you see look like it's collapsing, and the intent pushes you forward. Why? Because you've already intended it. And since you intended it, your spirit have already went out and started creating this thing. And no matter how it looks on the outside, you can never stop going forward. Why? Because then you're defeating yourself.
It's kind of like us starting this. Like, our intention was to do this, and now we're here in this very moment. If anything else would have came and tried to break us up, then we would have defeated ourselves. But we still
exactly. You kept going. You pushing for that. Just like you said, you invited quite a few people that you invited that just said, well, no.
Oh yeah,
y'all not big
all
enough.
the time. Yeah.
But you was consistent. You was like, well, that one didn't work. Let's try this one. Let's try this one. And that's how we overcome everything. By our continual pressing. Remember how diamonds are made, man. Time and pressure. We don't like pressure. Yet pressure is necessary for us to shine. So we have to learn how to deal with the pressure. And how do we deal with it? We deal with it from in here. We don't hold it in. We look at it and go, why am I allowing this to pressure me? What is this thing that I've given this power to over me when nothing is more powerful than you?
So I'm going to say a couple things, and I just want to hear, your response to it, right? I'm going to say a couple words. I just want to hear, what do you think about when you hear these things? Cool. CMOS.
All the minerals that our body need, and it tastes damn good when you know how to make it correctly. I love sea moss, man. When you take that sea moss and you grind it up, and you take don't cook it. Not when you're making it. You don't have to put heat to it until you making your drink, and you strain it, and I strain it, and I pour that liquid into a pot, and then I put oat milk or almond milk, and I put some cinnamon and some nutmeg, a little vanilla, and a little maple syrup, and it makes a drink that will knock your socks off. You be like, and then it's packed full of minerals that we need.
It was the capsules. I gotta see about that.
The capsules is good, but that fresh sea moss is
fresh is different. Okay. Fear.
Fear is something that we all have to deal with because it's vibration. Yet, it's how you deal with it that makes the difference. So when fear comes, if you allow fear to paralyze you or stop you from moving in the direction you needed to go in, then you allowing fear to defeat you. Well, fear is not here to defeat us. It's like everything else. It's just here to challenge us, just like death. Death is not here to just annihilate us. No, it's here to challenge us to live.
Wow, you caught me with that one. Love.
Love, greatest force in the universe, and that's the force that we have to have for ourselves. Because I tell folks, we had this idea about love, that love is this, oh yeah, I feel this for you, and I no, love is a force. That ain't got nothing to do with your feelings and your emotions. It's a force that has everything to do with how this universe operates. Because in this universe, you see that everything is what is giving, and yet in this giving, you have to give something back. That's what real love is. Love is understanding that you are here to give and to share all that you are, and in return, all that comes back to you.
Compromise.
God, that's what we are. We just forgot who we are. Because what is God? God is everything in everything, everywhere. That's us. We represent everything. We are part of everything. We are in everything. We are everywhere when we understand what we are in here. Because, see, we get caught up on this physical thing, where when we go into our inner space, then we realize that, hey, the moment that consciousness existed in this galaxy, we was part of that. That very moment. So that's why when folks say, I'm a child of God, of course you are. We all are. How can you not be?
The last one, Dr.Sebi.
The man with the plan in his hand.
I actually got one last question. Because I notice people will point out stuff to me, like, if you notice the president never gets sick. And they mention, like, even Magic Johnson with his disease is like, oh, he got financial aid. Somebody made a joke, I think it was Marlon Wayans. He said he don't have AIDS, he had financial AIDS. And they say, like, a lot of times those people, it's the money that heals them. But
it's not the money that heals them. It's access to having information and people who have like Magic. Pops was dealing with him first. Sebi was dealing with Magic, and it was Magic agents that was like, oh man, this is not a good look for the NBA and blah blah blah, because back then, that was back in the 80s, and and AIDS was a big thing, and he got arrested. They sent him to they locked him up. He went to the Supreme Court to be. He had to show that, hey, I cured this shit.
Yeah. And he beat it.
Yes, he did. So, yeah, man.
And the conspiracies regarding him, I'm not sure, so that's why I asked you. Do you think something really happened, or was he just?
Hey, I'm gonna say this. Like with everything happens the way it's supposed to happen in the time it's supposed to happen. Nobody can affect that but you. So it was his time.
So we have a segment on the show is conversations with your younger self. If you go back to like an early age, 15, 16, what are 3 pieces of advice you would give your younger self?
Without changing your timelines. I know some people like, I don't want to change who I am now, but without changing your timeline. Is any advice?
What I tell my younger self? Don't trust so much in your emotions. Because, as a Libra, we're emotional. So, I was like, I used to be all caught up. Oh, I feel real hurt when a girl says something. I tell my younger self, hey, man, the emotions is real, but don't get caught up in them emotions, man. They are what they are. They only here for a moment. What I would tell myself, don't be so violent. I was violent, man. It was unnecessary violence. I was violent because I was angry, not with nobody but myself. So, I would tell my younger self, don't be angry with yourself. Be patient with yourself. And the last thing I would tell my younger self, don't change nothing else.
I like that, straightforward. I did it right. I arrived here.
Anything you want to share or promote?
Oh yeah, please let the people know.
I just want to say I'm just thankful that you guys came, had this interview with me. I want to encourage y'all to come, check out, Instagram. It's Alchemist Asami. Check out some of my little lectures I do on there, and check my website out for products, man. We here to help y'all, So that's what we're about. We're about helping. That's why I come up with these OG Giffity and, because in Honduras, before we bring close to this, that's what they call this, Giffity. And the people in Honduras, the black people there, they call themselves Garifunas. They have their own language. And they was people who migrated from Africa, and they all along the coastal part of Honduras. So when I was there, when I first got there, I would go into the villages and I would see the jug in the corner of their house. I'd be like, what is that jug? They're like, man, that's Giffity. I said, what is Giffity? This is the medicine that we get. They give it to their kids. They give it to everybody, get it when they sick. So I said, I got to make that. And I've been sticking to that since, man.
Yeah.
It builds your immune system and cleans your prostate out and gives us a natural.
So this is the shots. This is the type of shots that we need to be taking more often instead of all that alcohol.
Exactly. This is the kind of shots me and her do take.
Come on, that's it.
Hey, here's to the real shots.
Here's to the real shots. Because this is actually going to help you. It's not going to take away from you.
Not taking nothing.
Right. Because alcohol, what it does, it takes the oxygen from your brain.
Right. Well, this is adding.
Yeah,
because you're not intoxicating yourself. What you're doing is stimulating. Because those herbs are going straight into your bloodstream. All that alcohol really is a carrier.
It's a carrier.
Okay. So there's alcohol. So there's alcohol inside there, but it's able to.
It's infused.
So it's rum.
Herbs infuse that alcohol.
Okay.
So it's a canister of rum.
Yeah.
Of all of the herbs, and you put the rum in to hold it. So
it's just like
it's a tincture. That's how they make tinctures.
Got you. So if it's like this, then it's actually good.
It's
but if it's by itself, then we're talking about something that's strong. Spirits.
Folks get alcohol poison from drinking too much.
And if you come and visit Usha Village, because there could be people with alcohol proclivities and so forth, then they give it to you in water. It's infused in water.
Okay.
It's a little longer process to make it.
Yeah, it takes
but it's the same herbs.
It's the same thing.
72 hours.
So you can have it in water.
Yeah, 72 hours to get these herbs just to yield to water.
Yeah.
And so
and then once they do, it's guiding you. You be like,
it's not the same as drinking it straight. Like,
it tastes totally. I can't drink it in water. I can take it like that. Left Eye, and then I don't know if you saw her video when she and then all of them, her group, and everybody was throwing it up. That was that, but it was in water. And the people, it's hard to palate.
Left Eye for Dr.Sebi, because I know somebody told me to ask a question about that whole thing with her. I ain't gonna ask because that's more conspiracy like.
You should ask. He was dating Left Eye at the time of her death.
What? Look, see how I look at the camera?
You should ask him.
Wow. We got probably like 1 minute or 2 minutes. 3 minutes? All right, so
pull the phone out.
So somebody, they told me to ask what, similar to how I asked you about Dr.Sebi, where it was like, was her death similar to his in a way with
No, it wasn't, and I know that to be a fact because what happened was she was driving this Jeep. She didn't have on her seatbelt, and then she was getting ready to try to pass a truck that was on the road, and another car came over, and then she had to swerve out the way, and when she swerved, that Jeep turned over, and she the only one that flew out of the Jeep because all the rest of them had on seatbelts.
Gotcha.
And when she flew out of that Jeep, her head hit this rock.
Yeah.
And that was it, because in Honduras they just put it in the paper as it is, so you saw the whole thing. It's like what the.
In general, them conspiracy that's outside those two.
Yeah.
You don't believe in them.
Yeah. Hey man, people like to just they like to say things to get attention, to get clicks.
But I just want to say thank you for this amazing sit down conversation. This light, this beautiful energy that you brought to us today, and this is definitely going to spark the brains of many people, and that's our goal. So thank you for tuning in.
Let's spark them up. Let's spark them
like,
up.
subscribe, and comment. We out of here, y'all.
The one thing you want to do is to love, and that love should begin with you. Once you love you, you love the whole world. It's easy. It's delicious to love everybody and everything.